Hi, Jason. Welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Python for All, a wordless approach. I was just wondering if you could take a moment to please tell us a little bit about yourself and about your book.
Sure, Len. Thanks. And thanks for inviting me to do this. I am primarily known as a C++ developer. People who know me know that from my YouTube channel, C++ Weekly, and I've had a moderately successful book on Leanpub already for C++ best practices, plus a handful of puzzle books for C++. And the puzzle books are part of the genesis of this, and also some experiences that I've had over the last year and a half. And I've just been wondering, like, how can I make programming in general more accessible to people? And I wanted to do this first in C++, but we have to acknowledge the fact that Python interpreters are just like available everywhere. Like I've got one on my cell phone, and I've got a handful of calculators over here that all have Python interpreters on them. So the idea behind the book is, and in the effort to make programming as accessible as possible, is that there's literally no words except for the intro in the book. It's example Python code and then what output it would produce. And if it does an interpreter error or a linter error, then you see that. And then I've got an emoji that is whether or not it's a frown or a smile or a quizzical look or whatever. And then it's just that it's dozens of examples like that. And then every now and then intermixed in will be an exercise that is similar to an example that I just did, but with blanks in it. And it's up to you to like fill in the blanks to understand either what piece of code is missing or what the output would have been. Then you go to the back of the book and you can actually see the solutions there if you want to. So it's all about trying to make programming as accessible as possible to people anywhere in the world, regardless of what language they speak, because there's hundreds of unserved languages for programming material, and even what their current computer skill or knowledge level is. Also, I've been highly inspired by the old magazines from the from the late 80s, early 90s, mid 80s, whatever, where you would flip open the book and you would have like a bunch of like basic examples in there. Same idea.
Yeah, thanks very much for sharing that and for posting this. I think it's the first in a series. It's just a really interesting idea, as you were explaining. To have a book with no words, but with explanations. And I didn't know that, but that inspiration from the really old days, which maybe not too many listeners, or I said listeners because I'm so used to the podcast, maybe too many watchers, viewers will be familiar with. But it used to be that in the early days of programming, people would go buy magazines and include in video gaming and stuff like that to sort of like get programs and things like that. And there was no Stack Overflow to go to if you had a problem. You were just stuck there with your text, and as a result, actually that text had to be incredibly rigorous, not just in the sense of being accurate, but like being kind of interpretable by just whoever it was. So whether they were like 5 years old or 15 years old or 50 years old. And the idea of a programming book that's accessible to everybody, but also that gives itself the sort of standard of being interpretable without words is just fascinating. So thank you very much, Jason, for publishing this book and for all the future books that you're going to publish. And thank you very much for being a Leanpub author and doing this video.
Thanks for having me on. Hopefully people enjoy the book. And like you said, I do hope to make other books in the same idea, C++ and other things that, I'm more of an expert on, I guess.
Thanks.
Thank you.